But first, US President Barack Obama said Tuesday that democracy in Africa was threatened when presidents did not stand aside at the end of constitutional term limits, and no one should be president for life. My colleague Paul Ndiho has more.
Since becoming the President of the United States, Barack Obama has visited more than 5 African countries. Most recently, he traveled to Kenya and Ethiopia. Speaking to a larger audience at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Mr. Obama used his podium to reiterate his broad and ambitious policy of engagement towards Sub-Saharan Africa.
When I first came to Sub-Saharan Africa as a president, I said that Africa doesn't need strong men, it needs strong institutions. Here, your 54 nations pursue a common vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa.
Millions of Africans and friends of Africa around the world had called on President Obama to use this opportunity to speak directly to African leaders who refuse to leave office once their constitutional mandates are over.
Africa's democratic progress is also at risk when leaders refuse to step aside when their terms end. Let me be honest with you, I do not understand this. I am in my second term. It has been an extraordinary privilege for me to serve as the President of the United States. I cannot imagine a greater honor or a more interesting job. I love my work. But under our Constitution, I cannot run again. I actually think I'm a pretty good president. I think if I ran, I could win. But I can't. So there's a lot that I'd like to do to keep America moving, but the law is the law. And no one person is above the law, not even the president. I'll be honest with you, I'm looking forward to life after being president. I won't have such a big security detail all the time. It means I can go take a walk. I can spend time with my family. I can find other ways to serve. I can visit Africa more often. The point is, I don't understand why people want to stay so long. Especially when they've got a lot of money. And just as the African Union has condemned coups and illegitimate transfers of power, the AU's authority and strong voice can also help the people of Africa ensure that their leaders abide by term limits and their constitutions. Nobody should be president for life.
For example, the Rwandan constitution allows only 2 terms, but Rwandan lawmakers earlier this month approved a measure that would pave the way for President Paul Kagame to seek re-election when his second term ends in 2017. In neighboring Burundi, President Pierre Nkurunziza recently won his bid for a controversial third term. Meanwhile, in Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, Uganda's longtime leader, set the precedent in 2005 when he secured a change to the constitution allowing him a third term. He's now serving a 4th term and most likely to run again in 2016. Other long-time rulers include Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe, in power since 1980. Cameroon's Paul Biya, in power since 1982. José Eduardo dos Santos, President of Angola, in power since 1979. And Teodel Obiang Nguema of Equatorial Guinea has also been in power since 1979. However, there is some good news. The concession of defeat by former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan after elections in March marked the first time in the nation's history that an incumbent leader had been ousted at the ballot box. Among other African countries working to consolidate and deepen democracy include Tanzania, Ghana, Liberia, Senegal, Botswana, and a few others with varying degrees of accountable governance. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.